Hi guys, welcome back to Anjali's Math Desk. In today's video, we will be continuing with the topic of data handling or introduction to statistics. In today's video, we will be using the concepts that we learned in the previous video and solve a few questions and also learn a few more new concepts. So let's get right into it. The first question says, the weekly wages in dollars of 30 workers in a factory are as follows. Using tally marks, make a frequency distribution table with intervals as 800 to 810, 810 to 820, and so on. So what are we going to do in this situation? They're asking us to make a frequency distribution table. So let's solve this together. Frequency, then tally marks, because they ask us using tally marks. Whoops, this is not going to be frequency. This is class/interval, then tally marks, then frequency. Okay, now our class intervals are 800 to 810, 810 to 820, 20 to 830. We can see that the largest number here is 890. I see 890. I don't know if there's something more than 890. Oh, there's 898. So the largest number that we have here is 898. So of course our interval, the last interval has to make sure that it covers 898. So we'll keep going with our intervals for now. So 830 to 840, 840 to 850, 850 to 860, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 92, 92, 900. And then we have total. Okay, so in the first class, which is 800 to 810, how many wages fall in this frequency class? So 800 to 810, of course 810 will not be included in this interval, it will be included in the next one. So we have 808 and 804. So the tally, and then we have 806 as well. So the tally is 3 for now, for this class, and the frequency is 3. And then now let's look at 810 to 820. 810 to 820, we have 810, 812. We only have 2, so 2. Now 820 to 830, again 830 will not be included in this one. So 1, there's no other, so 1. So now the next class we have is 830 to 840. So now 830 will be included in this one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the next one is 840 to 850. 840 will be included in this one. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one we have is 850 to 860. We only have 1, which is 855, so just 1. Then we have 860 to 870, so 1, 2, 3, yeah, just 3, and then 1, 2, 3. The next one we have is 870 to 880, so 1, we only have 1 there. The next one we have is 880 to 890, so 880 to 890, we have 885, and that's the only one, so 1 as well. And then we have 890 to 900, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4. And if we were to add these numbers, they will add up to 30. So there we have it. Here is the frequency distribution table with intervals as 800 to 810, 810 to 820, and so on. The next question says, draw a histogram for the frequency distribution table of data in the previous question and answer the following questions. Which group has maximum number of workers? How many workers earn 850 and more? And number 3 is how many workers earn less than 850. So first of all, we need to have our frequency distribution table from the previous question here. So let's do that. Okay, here we go. I was able to move the frequency distribution table that we had for the previous question to this page. And now let's draw a histogram for the frequency distribution table that we had for the previous question. Okay, let's start with creating a histogram for this question. So this, so the horizontal axis will be giving us the wages intervals, and our vertical axis will be giving us the frequency, or the number of the frequency, or the number of workers in that particular wage class. Okay, again, as we learned before, we're going to have a kink here because we're starting our data here from 800, and as we have no data to display before 800, like from 0 to 800, we don't have any data to display, so we'll be having this kink showing that there's no data to represent in that area. And then we have 800, 810, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 900. And now here we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so for the first one, 800 to 810, we have 3, so we go 3. Then for 810 to 820, we have 2, so we go 2. Again, this is a histogram. Then from 820 to 830, we have just 1, so just 1. Then 830 to 840 is 9, so we go all the way up to here. Then 840 to 50, we have 5. Then 850 to 860, we just have 1. Then 60 to 70, we have 3. Then 70 to 80, we have 1. 80 to 90, we have 1 again. And then 90 to 100, we have 4. So here we go. this is what our histogram will look like in this case. And now let's answer the questions that we've been asked. Number one is, which group has maximum number of workers? We can look at the histogram and we see it's the 830 to 840, right? So the answer here is 830 to 840 group has maximum number of workers. And now the next question is, how many workers earn 850 and more? So if we were to look at the frequency distribution table here that we have for 850 and more, 850 is included in this interval class. So all of these is basically what they're asking for, and we can just add all these up. So it's 13114, and it adds up to 10. So there are a total of 10 workers that earn 850 and more. And then the last question asks us, how many workers earn less than 850? And again, for that one, it'll be all the workers that fall in these classes. And again, the total number of workers here is 30, and 850 and more is 10. Therefore, we can easily say that the workers that earn less than 850 are 30 minus 10, which is 20. Or you can simply add all these numbers and it will add up to 20. Okay, so now let's learn about circle graph or pie chart. So what is a circle graph? When the data is represented in circular form, it is called a circle graph. So the data represented in circular form is called circle graph. What does a circle graph show? Circle graph shows the relationship. A circle graph shows the relationship between whole and its parts. In a circle graph, a circle is divided into sectors. The size of each sector is proportional to activity or information it represents. And a circle graph is also called pie chart. So basically, when a data is represented in a circular form, it's called a circle graph, and the circle graph shows us the relationship between the whole and its parts. The circle is divided into sectors, so basically something like this. Size of each sector is proportional to the activity or the information it is representing, and a circle graph is also called a pie chart. Okay, so now let's move on to a different topic, which is drawing pie charts or learning how to draw pie charts. Okay, let's look at this following scenario. The milkshake flavor for students of a school is given in percentages. Chocolate is 50%, strawberries 30%, and other flavors is 20%. And they're asking us to represent their data on a pie chart. So let's start with this. We know that the total angle of a circle is 360 degrees, right? And the central angles of sector will be fractions of 360. And we also know that the central angles of a sector will be fractions of 360 degrees, correct? Okay, so now let's look at these flavors: chocolate, strawberry, and others. We have 50% in the first case, 30 for strawberry, and 20 for others. Okay, now let's try to look at what the angle for each of these categories will be. Okay, first, in case of chocolate, we have 50%, which means 50 over 100 times 360 degrees, okay, which is 180 degrees for the chocolate. Now let's move on to strawberry, which is 30 over 100 times 360, which will be 108 degrees. And now to other flavors, we have 20 over 100 times 360, which will be 72 degrees. So now if we were to construct this pie chart, it would look something like this, where we know 360 is the total angle, total internal angle of a circle, but now 50% of that is chocolate. So this is for chocolate, and now we have strawberry 30%, which is we have a 108-degree angle for strawberry, and then 72-degree angle for other flavors. So now this is chocolate, which is 50%, or this angle is 180 degree. This one here is strawberry, which is 30%, or the angle here is 108 degrees. And then the remaining one is other flavors, which is 20%, or the angle here is 72 degrees. So this is what our pie chart will look like. And this is exactly how you create your pie charts, how you figure out what the internal angle of each sector will be. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. The next question says, a survey was made to find the type of music that a certain group of young people liked in a city. Following pie chart shows the result of this survey. From the pie chart, answer the following questions. Number 1 is, if 20 people liked classical music, how many young people were surveyed? Number 2 is, which type of music is liked by maximum number of people? And number 3 is, if a cassette company were to make 1,000 CDs, how many of each type would they make? Okay, so let's start solving this question together. And again, we have our pie chart right here. It's given to us. So the first question says, if 20 people liked classical music, how many young people were surveyed? We see that for the classical music, there's 10% who liked it. So it's basically 10% of X is 20. That's what they're trying to tell us. So they're basically saying that 10% of X is 20 people. Why? Because 20 people liked classical music, and we can see from the pie chart that 10% of people like classical music. So 10% of X is actually 20. So it's a very simple question. So 10 over 100 times X equals 20. And X is 20 times 10, which is 200. Therefore, X is 200 people were surveyed if 20 people liked classical music. Now, moving on to the second one, we have, which type of music is liked by maximum number of people? Again, we can look at the pie chart, and then we see that the biggest internal angle is taken by the sector which represents light music. Therefore, Maximum number of people liked light music, and we have that at 40%. And the third question is, if a cassette company were to make 1,000 CDs, how many of each type would they make? So let's start with the 40%, the light music, right? So what is the 40% of 1,000? It's 40 over 100 times 1,000, which is 400. Similarly, folk is 30%, and then number of CDs, if there were 1,000 CDs, it'll be 30% of 1,000, which is 300. Then for classical, following the same logic, 100, and semi-classical will be 200. So light music, there will be 400. For folk music, there will be 300. For classical, there will be 100. And for semi-classical, there will be 200 CDs if there were a total of 1,000 CDs made. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Next question says, draw a pie chart showing the following information. Table shows the subjects preferred by a group of students. So we have the table here, and we have mathematics, social sciences, and English as the subjects, and we have the number of students that, prefer the subjects mentioned. Now, in order to be able to represent this data on a pie chart, we need to find out the internal angles for each sector. For each sector, which is a sector for mathematics, for social sciences, for sciences, and for English. So let's start with that. Let's start with mathematics here. The total number of students is, of course, 36, and that's given to us as well. So for mathematics, it'll be 18 over 36 times 360, which is 180 degrees. So basically half of a circle is mathematics. Then for social sciences, we have 9 over 36 times 360, which is 90 degrees. Then for sciences, we have 6 over 36 times 360 degrees, which is 60 degrees. And for English, we have 3 over 36 times 360 degrees, which is 30 degrees. So now we have the internal angle for every single sector, and now we can definitely create the pie chart. And again, we found out that 50% is mathematics, so 180 for that. Then we have 90 degrees for social sciences, and then we have 60 degrees for sciences, and we have 30 degrees for English, right? So if we were to just mark this, this is mathematics with 180 degrees. This is social sciences with 90 degrees. This here, the bigger 60-degree angle is the sciences with 60 degree. And then this one is English with 30 degrees. So this is what our pie chart would look like in this case. Okay, so now let's move on to the last question for this video. The last question of this video is, The number of students in a hostel speaking different languages is given in the following table. Display data in a pie chart. Again, now we've been given 5 different languages, namely English, French, Spanish, Dutch, and Hindi, as the 5 different languages that are spoken at this hostel, at this particular hostel. And we've been given the number of students speaking these languages, and they've been segregated into their different languages, and we have the total number of students that are there. And we've been asked to draw the pie chart. Again, to draw the pie chart, we need to know the internal angle for every single sector that will be there in that pie chart, right? So let's start with finding the internal angles for each of these languages. Let's start with English. So to find the internal angle, for English, it'll be 40 over 72 times 360 degrees, which will be 200 degrees. And now for French, it will be 12 over 72 times 360 degrees, which is 6 here, 36 here, 60 degrees. Now let's try to find the internal angle for Spanish. Internal angle for Spanish will be 9 over 72 times 360 degrees. So this will be 36, this will be 2 and 45. So the internal angle here is 45 degrees. Now the internal angle for the sector for Dutch will be 7 over 72 times 360 degrees. And again, that will be 35 degrees. And the internal angle for Hindi will be 4 over 72 times 360 degrees, which will be 20 degrees, right? So now we have all the internal angles for the different languages that are being spoken in a hostel by the students. So we can definitely go ahead with creating the pie chart since we have all the internal angles. So let's mark the center. Okay, so since for English it's 200 degrees, it means it's slightly more than half of the circle. So it's going to be something like this. Then for French, it's 60 degrees, which means it looks something like this. For Spanish, it's 45, which looks something like this. Now for Dutch, it's 35, which will look something like this. And then the remaining is 20% for Hindi. So let's mark these. So this is for English with 200 degrees. This is French with 60 degrees. This is Spanish with 45 degrees. Now this is Dutch with 35 degrees, and then this one is Hindi with 20 degrees. There we go. Here we finally have the pie chart with the different internal angles that we calculated for the different languages spoken by students in a hostel. So this brings us to the end of our video. If you guys do like my videos, please do not forget to like and share this video. Also, please do leave a comment down below. Please do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video ever again. If you guys have any other questions with regards to other math topics, please do not forget to leave them in the comments down below and I will get back to you on those as well. Bye for now.